You know the skincare counter, the bright lights, the locked glass, the young woman who looks you over and names a price that makes your stomach drop. Now picture that exact same jar, the real one, the famous one, sitting in a plain cardboard box in a warehouse for a fraction of what she quoted you. That is not a fantasy, and it is not a dupe. It is happening right now. On a shelf, most women push their cart straight past, somewhere between the vitamins and the giant tubs of nuts. If you are over 50 and the skin in the mirror has gotten thinner and drier and a little more lined than it used to be, this is the aisle nobody told you about. Today I am giving you 8 real luxury skincare buys hiding at Costco, every one a genuine prestige name marked down below the counter. And I am saving the most famous name in all of skincare for number 1, the jar women save up for their whole lives, sitting in the warehouse for less. Somewhere in this list, there is also a single serum that costs over $800 at the counter, waiting between the multivitamins. Let me show you where all of it is. Let me give you the shape of this list first. These 8 buys climb. The first few are the accessible end of real luxury, genuine prestige names you could actually fold into a routine, marked down until they finally make sense. And then we cross over into the untouchables. The caviar serum, the essence the beauty editors worship, and right at the top, the most recognizable luxury name in all of skincare. Everyone sitting in a warehouse aisle for less than you would pay anywhere else. We start with the sensible splurges and finish on the ones that sound made up. But first, 3 quick rules, so you know exactly what kind of list this is. Rule 1, nobody pays me for this. No brand, no sponsor, no box of free jars mailed to my door to keep me sweet. If one of these is not worth grabbing even on markdown, I will tell you plainly, and a couple of times today I will. Rule 2, every one of these is the real thing. Not a dupe, not a look-alike. The genuine jar with the genuine name on it, simply marked down. And Rule 3, this is for women somewhere between 50 and 75, for skin that has gotten drier and thinner and needs real moisture and real repair, not a teenager's routine. Now, the one idea that makes all of this make sense. When you buy skincare, you are paying for 2 completely separate things that have almost nothing to do with each other. The first is the formula. The ceramides that rebuild a barrier, the hyaluronic acid that holds water in thinning skin, the retinol, the peptides, the vitamin C. Those cost pennies, and they are very often the same molecules whether they sit in a $400 jar or a plain warehouse tub. The second thing is the theater. The heavy glass, the lit counter, the woman in the white coat who hands it to you like medicine, the story about miracle broth and caviar science. The counter has trained you to believe those 2 things are the same. They are not. And here's the part the counter never says out loud. A great many of these products, cheap and expensive, are made in the very same places. The industry runs on contract laboratories that formulate and fill skincare for dozens of brands at once, from the drugstore bottle to the $800 jar. The factory does not change just because the logo does. Costco strips the theater off the top and sells you what is left. Sometimes that is the same formula in a plain box. And sometimes, the fun part, it is the exact luxury jar itself, the real one, just marked down. Keep both in your head, and here are your 8. Number 8 is where we start, and it is the most sensible thing in the aisle. Elizabeth Arden Advanced Ceramide Capsules. Little single-use gold capsules you twist open, each one a clean dose of ceramide serum. At the department store, a box of 60 runs around $88. Costco has carried them, often in a value size, for closer to 40. Here is why a capsule earns the opening spot on a list about $800 creams. Ceramides are the lipids your barrier is built from, and after 50, your skin stops making enough of them, which is the real reason mature skin turns dry, dull, and crepey. These feed clean ceramides straight back into that barrier, one sealed dose at a time. It is genuine barrier repair, the thing luxury barrier creams charge a fortune for, in a real prestige capsule for pocket change. Who is it for? Nearly every woman over 50. And honestly, if you only take one thing home from this whole video, make it this one, because it does the most real work for the least money on the list. Hold on to that, because the numbers are about to stop being sensible. Number 7 is a dermatologist's name, where the counter starts leaning on real science. Perricone MD, a doctor-founded cold plasma and peptide brand. The counters treat as serious clinical skincare with a high-potency firming treatment that runs around $179 at full price. Perricone has turned up at Costco in value sets, the real product, comfortably under the counter. What you are paying for is genuine actives at a real concentration meant to firm and smooth skin that has lost its bounce. And losing bounce is exactly what happens after 50, as collagen thins and the face starts to look a little slack by evening. Who is it for? The woman who has moved past just wanting moisture and wants something that works on firmness and would rather buy the doctor's brand at a warehouse price. It is real, it is clinical, and it is a touch less theatrical than what comes next, because from here the names get famous. Number 6 is a genuine cult icon, and it is also the one place on this list where I owe you some honesty. SK2 Facial Treatment Essence, the famous frosted bottle of so-called miracle water. Built around a fermented ingredient, the brand has sold for over 40 years, that fans swear leaves skin clearer, smoother, and more even. At the counter, the large bottle runs around $235. Costco has carried a jumbo size of the real thing for closer to $150. On mature skin, that watery essence does add a soft, lit from within smoothness. But here is the honest part, because this channel does not exist to worship expensive things. A good part of what you pay for SK2 is prestige, not chemistry. Fermented essences are not rare anymore, and there are far cheaper ones that get you most of the way there. So this is the one I would tell you to think twice about. If you have always wanted the real icon and you see it marked down, buy it at the warehouse and never at full price. But if you just want the result, you do not need this one. And that honesty matters, because the next few are the ones I would not talk you out of. Number 5 is the neck, the place we all quietly ignore until it gives us away. StriVectin Advanced Tightening Neck Cream. StriVectin built its whole name on the neck, the one part of us that ages faster than the face and shows more than any wrinkle ever will. And it is one of the very few non-prescription creams that genuinely delivers a visible tightening there. At the beauty store, a single tube runs around $95. Costco has carried it, sometimes as a double pack, a full size and a mini for less than one tube costs anywhere else. This is the real StriVectin, more of it for less. And the neck truly is the tell. You can spend years on your face, skip the inch below your jaw, and quietly undo the whole thing. Who is it for? Every woman over 50 who has caught her own neck in a photo and thought, when did that happen? Smooth it from the jaw down to the collarbone every night and give it a few honest months. Quick pause here, right as we cross into the expensive tier. If a plain woman telling you where the money really goes, with no brand paying her and no free jars arriving at her door, is what you have been looking for, then subscribe, because I put out a new honest one of these every single week. No sponsor, no PR box. Just me and the back of a jar. Now, the untouchables. Number 4 is the one your mother probably had on her nightstand. Estée Lauder Advanced Night Repair. The little brown bottle. The serum that has been the quiet backbone of prestige skincare for decades, built around peptides, hyaluronic acid, and antioxidants. And it runs around $125 at the counter for the standard bottle. Costco has carried the real thing, often bundled as a set, comfortably below the counter. Now, remember I said a couple of things on this list are worth it even near full price. This is my honest luxury exception. Unlike a lot of what the counter sells, Advanced Night Repair actually has real, tested research behind it. Decades of it. And it does genuinely smooth and strengthen tired older skin overnight. You are not just paying for a story, you are paying for a formula that earns some of its keep. If there is one prestige serum you buy with your eyes fully open, this is a fair one. Who is it for? Any woman over 50 who wants one, do everything night serum with the science to back the price. And hold on to that brown bottle, because in a moment, I will show you who really owns it, and it changes how you read this entire aisle. Number 3 is a name you would know from every magazine you have ever flipped through. Lancôme Génifique. The frosted bottle with the dropper, one of the most recognizable radiance serums in the world, built to strengthen and brighten skin that has gone flat and tired, and it runs around $135 for the large bottle at the counter. Costco has carried the genuine Lancôme serum below the department store price. This is that lightweight, fast-sinking serum you press in first, under everything else, to wake the whole complexion up. And on skin over 50, that first step matters, because a dull, depleted surface makes everything on top look worse. Who is it for? The woman whose skin has gone a little quiet and gray in the mirror and wants the glow back from a name she already trusts. And now, the two that sound made up. Number 2 is the one that stops people mid-scroll, because the number is almost hard to believe. La Prairie Skin Caviar Liquid Lift. This is the single most expensive thing in the entire building. A caviar-based lifting serum from one of the most mythologized luxury houses on earth. The one with the little caviar beads suspended in the bottle. And at the counter, it sells for around $810. $810 for one bottle. And Costco has stocked the real thing, the genuine La Prairie, for well over $100 off the counter, sitting quietly in a warehouse aisle like it wandered in by accident. This is not a copy of the $800 serum. It is the $800 serum, the actual bottle, marked down between the multivitamins and the reading glasses. And let me be honest, the way I always am. Is a caviar serum worth $800? No. Almost none of that price is the formula. But that is the whole point of this list. If the mythology of it appeals to you, and you were ever going to own the real thing once in your life, the warehouse is the only sane place on earth to buy it, at a price that finally has some relationship to what is in the bottle. The catch is, it comes and goes, so when you see the famous bottle marked down, you do not hesitate, because by next week that same spot might be a kayak. And now, number 1. The name I promised you from the very start. The most recognizable luxury cream in all of skincare. La Mer. Crème de la Mer. The original moisturizer, the jar with the miracle broth story, the one women save up for and photograph and treat like a small trophy. At the counter, a single ounce runs around $220, and the larger jar climbs well past $600. And Costco has quietly carried the real crème de la mer, the 1 ounce jar, for closer to $140. Not a dupe. The actual La Mer on a plain pallet next to the paper towels. Now your mirror deserves the truth. Is a jar of cream worth $200? Honestly, no. And the ingredient list is simpler than the price suggests. But this, again, is the point of the list. If you have spent years wanting the real La Mer, just once, you buy it in the warehouse for less, not at the counter for full price, and you enjoy the ritual with your eyes wide open. It is the most famous name in the aisle, marked down, sitting between the vitamins. That is where it has been the whole time. Now let me show you the thing I promised, the one that ties this whole aisle together. Remember that little brown bottle? The Estée Lauder at number 4 and the La Mer at number 1, the Sensible Serum and the $200 jar are owned by the exact same company. Estée Lauder Companies owns La Mer. The same corporation that fills the brown bottle fills the miracle broth jar. And it also owns the plain little bottles at the drugstore that cost $10, the ones from The Ordinary. One company, 3 completely different price tags. And it is not only them. The Lancôme serum at number 3 and the CeraVe tub in your bathroom right now are both owned by one other giant, L'Oreal. And the Elizabeth Arden capsules at number 8 are owned by Revlon, the same Revlon whose lipsticks sit in the drugstore for a few dollars. A tiny handful of companies behind almost all of it. Once you see that, the prices stop looking like quality and start looking like exactly what they are. Names marked up. Now, one honest catch, because I will not pretend a warehouse turns $800 into a bargain. Even marked down, the La Mer and the Caviar serum are still a lot of money. The win is not that they became cheap. The win is that you paid $100 or $200 less for the identical jar. So if any of that felt out of reach, do not feel priced out for a second, because the cheapest thing on this list, the Elizabeth Arden capsules at around $40, quietly does more real work for aging skin than the $800 bottle ever will. The barrier repair is the part that changes your skin. The mythology is the part that only changes your receipt. And a few rules so you can shop this aisle like an insider. First, read the back of the box, not the front, because the front is the marketing and the back is the truth. Look for the proven actives, the ceramides, the niacinamide, the hyaluronic acid, the retinol, the peptides, and let those guide you, not the name on the lid. Second, check the price per ounce, not the sticker, because a bigger number on a bigger jar is very often the cheapest skincare you will ever buy. Third, when you spot a real luxury markdown, check the seal and the date the way you would with anything, then enjoy paying less than the woman at the counter. And fourth, do not panic buy the whole aisle. Even lovely skincare you never open is wasted money, and the goal was always to spend smart, not to spend more. And because you are not meant to buy all 8, here is how the sensible ones fit together. In the morning, keep it simple. A gentle wash, a serum on damp skin, a moisturizer, and if you take nothing else from me, a sunscreen over the top, because that one habit does more against aging than every jar on this list combined. At night is where the treatment happens. A ceramide capsule or the night serum, the neck cream from the jaw down a few nights a week, and a richer cream to seal it in. The famous jars, the La Mer, the caviar serum are the once-in-a-while treat, only when the price is a genuine gift. That is a complete, lovely routine from one warehouse run for less than a single counter serum. So here's what I want you to carry out of this aisle, because it is bigger than any one jar. The luxury counter depends entirely on you believing that price is the proof. That an $800 cream must be $800 better than a $40 one. It is not. You were paying separately for the formula and for the fantasy, and the formula, the only part that ever touches your face, was never the expensive part. The villain here was never La Mer or La Prairie or Estée Lauder. They are allowed to sell a beautiful jar with a famous name on it. The villain is the reflex, the little voice that says the expensive one must be better, because that reflex is the only thing holding the whole counter up. So tell me down in the comments, which of these have you already been quietly grabbing at the warehouse, and which luxury name are you finally ready to stop overpaying for? I read every single one, and if this is the honest kind of help you have been looking for, subscribe because I put out a new one of these every single week.